What is up, everyone? It's Quinn here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going through my Week 12 top 18 tight end rankings. This definitely might be a tough week at the tight end spot with all the teams on bye. You might need to be hitting the waiver wire. Maybe you're digging into your depth. Hopefully, this video helps you guys go out and make the best play at the tight end spot. If you guys do enjoy the video, do me a huge favor, hit that like button and subscribe. Any questions, feel free to drop them down below. But let's just dive right into the rankings here. Starting off in tier 1, I have Brock Bowers and George Kittle. For Brock Bowers, he truly has had an unreal season here as a rookie tight end, coming in, putting up 15.9 points per game. Like, that's insane on its own, right? Just coming in as a rookie and delivering that type of production. It's even more impressive when you actually look at the offensive environment he's doing it in. This is not Sam Laporta, going to the Lions and playing on a great offense from day one. This is not a Dalton Kincaid going to the Bills and, having the opportunity to be a top target for Josh Allen. This is him going to a pretty bad offense with a quarterback position that's pretty much in shambles. They have no direction at the quarterback spot. And Brock Bowers has come in. He is leading all tight ends in targets, receiving yards, and receptions. Like I said, I really can't even really put into words how amazing this season has been for Brock Bowers. He is going to be a high-end tight end one, probably the tight end one for a very, very long time. I'm going to give him his respect here as the tight end one this week. My tight end 2 is going to be George Kittle going up against the Packers. He's been the tight end 1 on the season, averaging 17.6 points per game. The concern this week is just, is he going to be able to play with that hamstring injury? He missed last week. Hopefully he's 100% here for week 12. Then moving into tier 2, definitely still some strong options. We're going to have Travis Kelce going up against the Panthers. It really seemed like Kelce was starting to string some things together from week 8 through 10, 3 straight games. He had 20 plus points in each of them. Then week 11, he goes out and puts up 2.8 while you have his, guy in the tight end room, Noah Gray, scoring 2 touchdowns, having a really strong fantasy day. So it was not great. It's still a decent matchup here against the Panthers. I think he'll be fine, but I just didn't quite have him up in tier 1 based on him kind of falling back down to earth. After Kelce, going to go with Trey McBride going up against the Seahawks. On the season, he is the tight end 3 in points per game while only scoring 2 touchdowns. He's had a pretty high floor. Just kind of needs to start hitting in the touchdown department to reach that, kind of peak ceiling, but still a very strong play, even if those touchdowns don't come. Then I have David Njoku going up against the Steelers. In the 4 games where Jameis Winston has played meaningful snaps, he's averaging 16.9 points per game. The one thing about, this specific matchup, though, it's a tough Steelers defense. The Browns are actually tied for the lowest implied point total, so that's not great for the overall ceiling of this offense this week, but the volume should still be there. Njoku has been very, very productive ever since Jameis Winston took over. And then the last guy in tier 2, it's going to be Cade Otton. He's deserved a spot up with some of these big dogs going up against the Giants. We'll see about the return status of Mike Evans, but I do think he's played well enough with no Evans, no Godwin, that even when Evans comes back, he is going to still have a very significant role. Like, you can't ball out with the attention on you without those top weapons, play as well as he did, and then just fade back into being like a non-factor at the tight end position. The toothpaste is out of the tube. It's just not how it works. In his last 4 games, he is averaging 19.3 PPR points per game. Maybe he's not getting completely funneled targets like he was over the last few weeks, but I still think he is going to play a big factor in this Bucs offense. Now, looking at tier 3, like our mid to back end tight end ones, my tight end 7 here is going to be Hunter Henry going up against the Dolphins. In 5 healthy Drake May starts, Hunter Henry is averaging 11.5 PPR points per game. Not like he's going nuclear every week, but at the tight end position, 11 plus points with, some consistency. That's a solid play here in the mid-tier tight end 1 range. Then I have Tucker Kraft going up against the Niners. I think people are probably going to think this was high because he's coming off of just a complete goose egg. He is still the tight end 10 in points per game. His route participation is still really solid. He is still on a good offense. He has that touchdown upside. A lot of these tight ends in this area, they don't have a super high volume floor. So if I can get someone who's had some of those big games, but also is live to get into the end zone, I'm fine kind of giving them the slight edge. So Tucker Kraft, he's going to be my tight end 8. Then I have Jonnu Smith going up against the Patriots. Week 11, absolute monster game, 6 for 101, 2 touchdowns. He's been targeted 6 or more times and has gone for 45 or more receiving yards in 5 of his last 6 games. Really getting some consistency, has pretty much phased Jalen Waddle out of this offense. It's Devon Achane, Tyreek Hill, and Jonnu Smith. Jalen Waddle is pretty much an afterthought at this point. So Jonnu Smith, think he's a top 10 play. And then we're going to go with Dallas Goedert going up against the Rams. In his last 4 healthy games, he's put up 10 plus PPR points. Really all you can ask for from a guy like Dallas Goedert. Now looking at tier 4, going to start off this tier with Sam Laporta going up against the Colts. He's dealing with a shoulder injury, missed last week. At this point, he's kind of just settled into like that touchdown or bust area. Not a high volume pass catcher, not going to rack up a ton of volume. You're just hoping he hits a big play and gets into the end zone. Then I have Will Dissly going up against the Ravens. Really nice week 11, 4 for 80 and a touchdown. He's been targeted 6 or more times in 4 of the last games. I like the matchup here. I do think the Chargers passing volume is going to be there. I think they're going to put up points. I do just think talent-wise, he's really not competing with, some of the guys ahead of him. But if the volume's going to be there with Herbert at quarterback, I definitely still think he's a playable option. TJ Hawkinson here might seem low to some people going up against the Bears. I think you see the name, you know how productive he was last year. Seeing him below, Will Dissly, Sam Laporta this year, Goddard, Jonnu Smith, Tucker Kraft, it might seem kind of jarring. He's just not getting the, requisite usage to be ranked much higher. In week 11, he only had a 57% route participation. He's not even playing close to the same role as last year. And I mean, it should be expected, right? Like he's coming back off the torn ACL. It's probably wishful thinking to expect him to just be like 80+% route participation. But, sub 60 is pretty rough. He's averaging 8.1 points per game in the 3 games since he's been back. I guess the somewhat concerning thing is it's not like he's building each game. Like he's kind of settled in this area, which is not ideal. And it's why I have him here as my tight end 13. Then I have Zach Ertz going up against the Cowboys. Week 11 was his best game, 6 for 47 and a touchdown. Not going to have the highest ceiling, not going to be like overly consistent, but a fine play once you're getting into like the high end tight end 2s. And then wrapping up this tier with Mark Andrews going up against the Chargers. He is back to a very heavy split with Isaiah Likely back in the lineup. With that type of split, he's definitely more touchdown or bust, but we've also seen him do better in the games where the Ravens are more pass heavy. They're in competitive game scripts. I do think that could be one of those matchups here against the Chargers. Chargers have looked good. Maybe they run up the score here. I think Mark Andrews could definitely have one of those touchdown games. And then tier 5, I feel like this is where we have a pretty steep drop off. We're getting into like really gross tight end plays where it's like your stud tight end might be on bye and you're just desperately throwing one of these dudes into the tight end spot. We're going to start off with Cole Kmet going up against the Vikings. The consistency 100% has not been there. He's actually coming off his best game since week 6, but that is a very, very low bar. I don't even think he hit 8 PPR points. I do think maybe there's just the upside that this new offensive coordinator, has been promoted with Shane Waldron gone, and they did look better in week 11. So maybe like one kind of not so great game out of Kmet doesn't mean it's just going to continue moving forward. And compared to some of these other tight ends, he has just flashed the significantly higher ceiling. Like he's more talented than these guys. He's put up 20 plus, point games. So if he has that in his range of outcomes, I do think I will give him the edge over some of these other dudes. Then my tight end 17, going to be Luke Schoonmaker going up against the Commanders. This is obviously assuming that Ferguson is not able to play with his concussion. With Ferguson getting bounced out early in that game, Schoonmaker was targeted 10 times, caught 6 of them for 56 yards. I think he had a really nice game earlier on in the season also in a Jake Ferguson injury game. So when Fergus gone down, he's made some plays. If you're desperate, he could be your option. And then the last guy here, Jatavian Sanders going up against the Chiefs. Rookie tight end for the Panthers. Not that this is like some sort of super high bar, but he's put up 8+ PPR points in 4 of his last 5. He's gotten into the end zone to get there. He has had, a couple decent volume games. Not my favorite play in the world, but if you're desperate, you have someone on bye, he could be the option for you. And that is going to wrap it up for my top 18 tight end rankings. If you guys enjoyed, smash that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for stopping by, and I will see you in the next one.